talked about. So today, lesson 5B, combining like terms with rational expressions. We're going to work on identifying the parts of expressions like we did earlier in the year, and then combining like terms. Another way of saying that is simplify expressions, and then also naming the parts of expressions. And the reason why this is extremely important is for solving equations with positive and negative decimals in them. So, a little refresher here. A term is a number or the product of a number and variable. Terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So when I say terms, I'm talking about things like 7x and 3y and negative 4abc and 6x over m squared and 1k and positive 2. Those are all terms. So there are 6 of them there. The coefficients are the number in front of the variables. And when we did this before, for about 2 weeks straight, I kept asking questions with regards to these things. But in case you have forgotten, a coefficient is a number that is multiplied by a variable. A different way of saying that is it is a number in front of a variable. And one thing that some of you forgot to do when we did these before is you forgot to take the sign in front. So positive 7 is a coefficient. Positive 3 is a coefficient. Do we all kind of remember this? Yes or no? All right. Negative 4 is a coefficient. Positive 6 is a coefficient. Positive 1 is a coefficient. But that 2, without a variable next to it, is not a coefficient. That is called a constant. So a constant is a number that has no variable, like positive 2 at the end. And so we did a whole bunch of things like this. I don't think I need to do this problem. In this one, there are 5 terms. The coefficients are positive 7, negative 3, positive 4, and positive 1. And the constant is positive 5. All right, remember, you cannot combine like terms unless the letters and exponents are the same. These were problems that we did earlier in the year. You don't have to do these, but just pay attention, please. When we're combining like terms, I like to use shapes to highlight the like terms. So in this problem, it's 7x plus 5y. In the next one, we have a positive 4a, a negative 3a that makes positive 1a, and then a positive 6 and a negative 2. Notice that I use circles for the letters and squares for the constants. It doesn't matter, but for some of you, I know that that helps you sort of keep track of your like terms. And remember to take the signs in front of each term. That way you'll know whether it's positive or negative. Well, today we take it to decimals. I would like everybody to try number 1. And since we've been working on decimals, this should be easy. Both of these terms are like terms because they have the same variable, which is x, and they're both x to the first power. Daniel, what does that expression simplify to? And use the sentence frame, please.
I concluded the expression is 1.15x.
Very good. 0.35 plus 0.80. Remember, make the same number of decimal places. That is 1.15x. Everybody try number 2. And then we're going to exchange with our shoulder partner on this one. So there were lots of different things going on with this problem, and I wanted to shoulder partner right off at the very beginning with a problem like this because I already know from experience the types of things that happen. And there were questions like, well, do I add the opposite? I don't know. Do you? Some of you don't need to. You know what the difference is between those two like terms. But some of you need to because it's a tool that helps you determine whether you have more positives or more negatives. So when I'm doing this problem, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will add the opposite because it was a subtraction problem, turning it into an addition problem. In here, do I have more positives or more negatives? More negatives. We have 3.2 C's and negative 5 C's. We have more negative C's, so I know it is negative. Now the question is, how many more? Well, I have 5.0 negative C's, and I only have 3.2 positive C's. How many more negatives do I have than positives? I have 1.8 more. So the expression, I concluded that the expression should be negative 1.8 C. All of those things that we have talked about in the past still apply. Adding the opposite if you see subtraction. Comparing the number of positive things you have with the number of negative things that you have, and so on. Okay. Let's go to number 3. Everybody try number 3. Lizzie.
I believe that the expression is negative 5 and 9/10, negative 5.9x plus 7.8.
And that's what I saw when I walked around and looked on most of your papers. So let's quickly go through this. I'm going to add the opposite every single time that I see subtraction, just to make sure that now I have a straight addition problem. I like to use shapes when I am highlighting like terms. This is a like term with that like term right there. I have a negative 2x and another negative 3.9x. That is a negative 5.9x. Then with my constants, I have a positive 9 and a negative 1.2. If you can't figure that out in your head, then off to the side, you would say, well, I have 9.0 positives and only 1.2 negatives, and I have 7.8 more positives, so that is why it is plus 7.8. So, I believe that the expression is negative 5.9x plus 7.8. Let's take a look at number 4. Everybody try number 4, and we will shoulder partner this one. Last time the 2's took that one, the 1's will take this one. Number 4, here we have 1.23 positive w's, and I'm going to go through and add the opposite right now in these two areas right here. And I have 6 negative w's. I have, in terms of w's, I have more negative w's than positive w's. I have 6.00 negative w's and 1.23 positive w's. And so I'm trying to figure out how many more negatives I have, so I subtract. And I have 4.77 more negative w's than positive w's. Now, I take a look at the constants. I have a positive 19w and a negative 2.5w. I have more positives than I do negatives. And I'm trying to find room here somewhere. I have 19.0 positives, 2.5 negatives. Stefan, how many more positives do I have than negatives? 1.7. Really? Yes.
It's negative 4.77w plus 16.5.
I have 16.5 more positives. I can see from right there. And I kind of ran out of room there. But I believe that the expression should be negative 4.77w plus 16.5. Let's go to number 5 and number 6. Do both of those, please. So number 5, when we combine our like terms, we have a negative, I guess I should add the opposite right there. We have a negative 14.7w and a positive 4w. We have more negative w's than positive w's. In fact, we have 10.7 more negative w's. Now we take a look at the constants. We have a positive 11 and a negative 6.8. We have more positives than we do negatives. In fact, we have 4.2 more. So I concluded that the expression is negative 10.7w plus 4.2. How about number 6?
I concluded that the expression is negative 2.23 plus 4.1.
Where'd the variable go?
Oh, negative 2.23c plus 4.1.
All right, very good. We add the opposite here, add the opposite here. When we look at our C's, we have more negative C's than positive. In fact, we have 2.23 more negative C's. When we look at our constants, we have more negatives than we do positives. In fact, we have negative 4.1 more. Now, let's talk, before I have you do all the rest of these problems, let's talk about this expression really quickly. Did anybody write it slightly differently than that? Or maybe a question I should ask you, is there a different way to write that I've accepted up until now, but we really need to get out of writing it that way? Yes. Yeah, so you could have negative 2.23c plus negative 4.1, but this is the preferred way of writing them. All right, so let's go to the back side. We have 4 problems left. I want you to work on all 4 of them with your shoulder partner. I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 minutes to get all 4 of them finished. So go ahead. All right, number 7. I determined that the expression is negative 12.8x plus 1.8 because we have 12.8 more negative x's than positives, and in the constants I have 1.8 more positives than negatives. Number 8, I determined that the expression is negative 2.4w minus 7.3. Negative 2.4w because we have 2.4 more negative w's than positive, and negative 7.3 or minus 7.3 because we have 7.3 more negatives than positives as far as the constants go. Number 9, I ascertained that the expression is 30.4m plus 3.1. We have 30.4 more positive m's than negative and 3.1 more constants than negatives. And number 10, I ascertained that the expression is negative 7.9c plus 25.8. All right, we are finished for today.